I haven't done a video for a while, so I thought I'd kick off a new season, so to speak, with a little piece on the first two moves of short form 1. And for me, short form 1 is the mother of all the forms. It's also the mother of the system. It's got so many vital components in those first two moves, which are taught to us and being given to us by Parker as a legacy, which, if done right, really do increase our survivability, the ability to be able to withstand confrontation. So, as an example, we know that action is faster than reaction. So, because we're a self-defense system, if we don't do a preemptive strike, it means that we are working behind the opponent in time. So we have been given certain principles to kind of catch up. Those principles, or some of those principles, are point of origin, move the target, okay, two vital principles, and beat an action by meeting it. So beat an action by meeting it, that's really interesting because that's how our blocks are set up with the engineering. So it's really important that you pay attention to how you engineer your blocks, because that it automatically gives you that correct angle of to intercept the strike. So if we take that first movement, for instance, we know that when we learn this, we have our conceptual box, and we have those 2 points, and you're going to learn an inward block. So I know if I'm doing this hammering inward block, I'm going to go to this point over here. I need my elbow below the fist, and it's as if I'm stabbing that corner with a knife here. So turning this way means that I'm losing some of the engineering. Blocking over here means it's the wrong angle. Okay? And that's really important because that gives us the maximum angle of deflection. And it means that we can go out and meet that action. Okay? That conceptual box is hinged at your shoulder, so if I step back to here, that corner is still over there. It doesn't come with me over here. So that's something that we do in the first move of short form 1. Now, there are 4 blocks in short form 1, and it's important that you look at the engineering of how each of those blocks are done, because each of those blocks should be meeting the action. Okay? Now, the sequence is inward, outward, upward, downward in the form, and it's repeated later on as well through various different parts in the system. And that's an important sequence, inward, outward, upward, downward, because like everything else in short form 1, it's based around the plus sign. So let's explain that a little. So if you look at the human body and you just stood normally, my arms are low. But where are they? Are they on the outside or are they on the inside? And they're on the outside. So if they're on the outside, where must they go first? They have to go in. So there's your first inward block. So you drop back and you have your inward block. Now, if my arm's gone in, where must it go then? It has to go out. So there's my straight line. That's the first part of the cross. So in and out. So that's examine that. Whether I go from the high position or the low position, it doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that I'm looking at this line for going in and going out. Now normally, when you're stood, your arms are low. So on the vertical line, if they're low, where must they go? They've got to go high first. And when they're up there and they're in a high position, where must they go? Afterwards, they've got to come down. Okay, so that's your vertical line. So you have your horizontal and your vertical line. So it's inward, outward, upward, downward. So that's the logical reason, I believe, why that is taught in that sequence. And that too is important, because that's about point of origin. Where can I go from here? I have to go out. Or here, I have to go down. And point of origin is a really important principle, which has been given to us by Ed Parker to help us catch up with that first initial action. So when I stand in my first position and I have my hands up like this, my hands are high. So this represents the hands high position. Well, that point of origin. I don't want any trouble. Okay? So if my hand is high, then the method of execution for that inward block has to be hammering, right? It's coming down. It's coming down. So that first block is hammer, boom, and drop. Now, the chamber position, my hand is low. So the method of execution for that is going to be thrusting. Okay? So I have hammer, thrust. Two different methods of execution, but still beating the action by meeting it because we're intercepting on the correct angles because our engineering is correct. Does that make sense? So another major principle that short form 1 teaches us straight away is to move the target. Don't be there. Better not to be hit. Now, that principle is repeated throughout the system too. And it's a lifesaver. That's more important than learning the blocks. Okay? And sometimes people will focus on the blocks when they should be focusing on the footwork, which will save your life. And that gives you the distance and be able to move the target, be able to maneuver and avoid and evade. Okay? So that principle is taught with first move a short form 1 because you step back and you move the target. Boom. Stabilise your base. Make your base strong. When you step back and you stabilise your base so you can withstand the attack. Ground to the floor. Okay? So step back, move the target, go from the point of origin with your block. Use the correct engineering on the block so that it intercepts at the correct angle so you get your maximum angle of deflection and fits in with that principle that Parker left us of beating the action by meeting it. Okay? And what have I said? So I've lost my plot now, see? Step back, stabilise your base, move your target, correct engineering for your block using that, beat the action by meeting it. Okay? All of that in the first 2 movements. There's more because, you know, passive action and all of that stuff, that is also so important. But those 3 survivable, those 3 skills that he's left us, those 3 major principles, you should be looking at with everything that you're doing. Okay? That is so important. And when you start to look, you get to see that actually it's there. It's in everything that we do. These principles taught to us in the first 2 minutes of short form 1. Okay. I hope that helps. And until next time, thank you very much.